days, bouncing back. I thought our practices were really spirited, they were lively, they were competitive, and they bought into what we had to do. And we weren't as physical as we need to be when it came to the rebounding, but we were more physical than what we had been. And that's the only way we're gonna win, and it's really the only way you play Tennessee. I mean, they're the way they are, and he's a Hall of Fame coach, Rick is, for a lot of different reasons, but everything starts at the top with the level of toughness that they have. And his teams have always been that, going back to George Mason, Providence, Clemson, Texas, and certainly at Tennessee. And bottom line is, you gotta match that. You gotta match that when you play. And I thought our guys did. Proud of the way we kept the ball moving. Our offense certainly helped our defense, which is something they've got to continue to understand when you go on the road. This is part of the maturity process, that if you move the ball, if you move without the ball, if you're active and you don't stand, even if you're not making shots, if you guard well, if you rebound, if you get out on the break, good things will happen eventually. But what happens to young teams, and ours is no different, when the shot's not going sometimes, the defense and the rebounding aren't as good. And that's the biggest Achilles heel we've got to continue to grow through with as many young guys as we have. So tonight was a good example of what happens when both parts are clicking, and I'm proud of the way that they played. We got a lot of contributions, and it was a great victory against a phenomenal program and like I said, a Hall of Fame coach. Should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure when his eligibility is, but he should be in there.
Any injury update on Severe?
No update. He'll rehab tonight, and we'll be 24/7 with him on that type of stuff. So.
Also saw that Jake Warren Walden wasn't dressed out.
Yeah, he'll be back tomorrow. We treated him. He took a shot in practice last week, and so we didn't even travel him this past weekend because we were treating concussion-like. It was concussion-like symptoms, but he doesn't have it. And today was his last day of non-contact. So I think he's back tomorrow. Full tilt tomorrow.
Coach, can you just, I guess, maybe capture the big picture of this? I mean, it's a 63-point swing from when they beat you last year. You got Kirby here, Matt Stafford here, David Pollock here. I mean, this was an event, and to get this sort of
Don't forget those 2,000 plus students that were here for the second time in a row. What was it, John Bateman?
Yeah, 2007 tonight.
I love that Kirby and the whole group is here, but I love that those students are here.
But
right?
making this an event, though, where it's become a place where people kind of come.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about
That's what we have to get there. I mean, see, all I know is what I know. I don't know what Georgia knows, right? And so all I know is what I know in the sense of how we built it at Marquette, how we built it at Indiana. And the bottom line becomes, no matter what, everybody has got a high level of importance because they're at your arena. And I know that sounds corny, but that's the way it's always been. You don't make attendance jumps if you take it for granted. You don't make attendance jumps. Well, obviously, you got to have something they're excited to see. It's got to be a happening. It's got to be an event. And I think there's steps we're continuing to take. I think there's steps we'll continue to take to make it be that way. They don't have anything to do with the basketball. But the basketball is getting better. I think people like the style of play. They're excited, and I think they feel ownership. And I guess that's the biggest thing that you want to have happen. You know, we can use any adjective we want, you know, about the pageantry of it or it's an event, but you want people to have ownership. Because when they have ownership in your program, you're not just sold out for the biggest names on your schedule. And obviously the first two games with Kentucky and Tennessee are pretty big names. But when you're really building a program and this thing really starts to be what it needs to be, we'll be packed like that every night. And that's what the goal is. That's the way it gets built. You know, we had recruits in here tonight. It's a school night. They're in there. They can't help but be excited about that. You know, and to me, I'm just extremely grateful that there's so many people that come out, that the students come out like that there is excitement, and I think they're enjoying themselves. And I know that they're bringing a lot of energy to us as well. Does that make sense as far as what you're asking? Okay.
After starting out with the first couple of conference losses.
Did you go watch Groundhog Day?
I didn't. I remember though that I have seen, because I Googled it to write my story, reference it.
I'm just saying that because I like to look at everybody else's faces that have no idea what Groundhog Day is. So, you don't know either.
I've seen
You've seen Groundhog Day? All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Fine. After starting out with those first couple of conference losses, what does tonight mean to you guys, both for tonight and moving forward?
Well, I think the bottom line is you can't stay behind too long. You got to learn from that game. We can't start looking ahead. right? Because then it's complete stress, right? You just can't do that. And you can't, for a coach, every game is a must-win. That's your stomach. I mean, that's your mindset. You don't want to bring that to your players, right? Because that's a level of pressure that they're not built for that, right? Most aren't. You want to get them to understand what causes you to lose, so we can eliminate that as much and gets us to be able to win, and try to focus on those things as much as possible. Our transition was better, our rebounding was better, our ball movement was better, our ball reversals were better. Anthony was on different sides of the court more and more tonight, attacking from so many different areas. Anthony was on the attack, and when you're on the attack, that way all of a sudden there's the threes, right? And that's how we need to play, right? So you get so focused on that, you don't really focus on your schedule. You focus on the opponent, what it takes, and then you want the results to take care of themselves. But we don't overly talk about the schedule. We don't overly talk about, hey, we're 0-2. We don't do that, right? Because all that's doing is bringing needless pressure, right? We got to improve. We have a very young team. I keep it in perspective, but I don't go out and coach practice with perspective. We got to coach practice to get them better. But at the end of the day, we got 10 new guys, so there's got to be a little perspective. And we're trying to work on that. But it was a great victory against an outstanding program, no question about it.